Professional streamer. I forgot to add me in. Hello, Spurs fans. Hotspur Hippie here. The only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. I was out in the back garden a second ago. I thought I'll come and entertain you lot with mindless speculation and off-season filler. Because let's face it, there's fuck all happening. I was out by the fire. I had a fire going, and I was about to stream, but my arse was getting all numb. So I should have brought this chair and just revolved like a doner kebab on a spit. How about that? Faster turning circle than Eric Dyer there. So let's have a look. Let's see who's here. Who's out there in internet nutterland? Where are we? Can't see my cursor. IT professional, my arse. Hope you're all well. Here we go. Brian Daigle. Evening, your lordship. Nice to have you around. Moondog. Morning, Paul. Oh, they're all coming in. Carl Simpson. Blimey. Mark Cousins. Hello. Live Spurs chat at 3 a.m. Well, I just do it when I feel like. Is that what time it's over there? I'm just waiting. I'm trying to pass time till the cricket starts. Hopefully England will stuff Australia. David Warner, who's he? Chucking his bat away, bloody useless. I'd like to see a few more Sonny Bill masks in the crowd myself. All right, let's get to some basic speculation here because I'm bloody freezing in here. So I don't know how long I'll be on for. Here's a player I've never heard of, which doesn't narrow it down because I haven't heard of any players really that don't play for Tottenham, and I haven't seen them play against Tottenham. Apparently, according to Spurs OTM, and this is from Tier 1 source, Alistair Gold, he's that man that talks for over an hour and a half about stuff, and him. He's saying, Tottenham love Mark Guehi. Spurs have a massive interest in him. Spurs would face plenty of competition, and Palace will demand big money for the defender. Any thoughts on him? Defender? Oh, I might have to look him up. So I can't be bothered. I was going to look him. All right, let's look him up at SofaScore. Here we go. So remember, the benchmark is Eric Dyer is a 6.86 on SofaScore. So it's the are you statistically better than Eric Dyer competition. Let's just get him up here. Come on, SofaScore. There he is. All right. Let's see if I've got the technology to do this. Here we go. Is he better than Eric Dyer? Oh, look at that. 7.3. That's like 35% or something like that better than Eric Dyer. Bloody hell. Wow. What does he do then? He looks like he's a right-centered centre half who can teleport without touching the ground over the other side of the pitch. And then he's got a big jump on him. He can jump about, I don't know, what's that, 25 yards in a single bound. So yeah, let's sign him up. Thanks, SofaScore. You've helped us again. I'll toss that is. Right, what else we got? That's one bit of baseless speculation. I've got a load of fire in my eyes. Oh dear, oh dear. It was the coldest bloody fire I ever lit. It was pathetic. All right, what we got here? Chris Cowlin. He's saying Tottenham news in big letters with a colon. Saudi club ready to bid. I don't really read these. I just sort of scan them and bung them in my bookmark. So I like to be as surprised as you are at this ground-breaking journalism. Here we go. Saudi club ready to bid for Heung-min Son. Fuck off. What? No. We're not going to sell Son, are we? And if he's going to go, surely he'd want to go to somewhere decent, wouldn't he? Bloody Saudi Arabia. That's just like gold watch football, that is. On the news on the revolving door going that way, out you go. Spurs watcher saying there is interest in Joe Roland from Premier League clubs as well as teams in France. that means only teams in France, doesn't it? That's what that usually means. That's like Davison Sanchez saying, "Oh, I've had so many offers from Premier League clubs, but I want to further my horizons by going overseas to like Liechtenstein or something, playing in their league." These agents are earning their money these days. They're all getting their 5%, spreading these baseless stories. Oh, it's more on Heung-min Son. Al Ittihad set to launch ambitious plan to sign Heung-min Son from Tottenham. Opening bid likely soon in the region of 60 million euros. Player offered contract worth 30 million a year. Nah, fuck that, man. He could do better than that. However, Spurs understood not to be interested in listening off. So, why do I bother reading this shit? I don't get it, man. So let's see if you've got any thoughts on that lot. We've got a defender I've never heard of who's statistically better than Eric Dyer, and Heung-min Son. Well, they want to buy him, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? God, bloody Fleet Street meatheads. How are you bloody living? Start tapping people's phones again and getting proper news. All this bollocks I'm reading. All right. Hey, Jose, buenos dias, compañero. Have you started your new channel yet? If you're interested to watch that, here we go. Brian Daigle, weather report. Pouring with rain here. Don't know if much cricket will be played today. Oh, is that right? Is it pissing down in Leeds, is it? Oh, that's a shame. So look, I can't be bothered. I'll take your word for it, Brian. If you're saying it's raining there, then why am I looking at a weather report? Here all over the place. I'm going a bit. What's his name? Alan Gilzean. Oh well, I'll take it. If Brian says it's raining, it's bloody raining, isn't it? I'm not going to look at a computer and doubt him. Guehi is my number one choice for centre backs to come in. Okay, well that's a big rap, man. I've only seen it mentioned once, but my interest was piqued by the Stuttgart player Hiroki Ito, just because I think Ange will have seen him. When Ange is sitting in his Ange cave looking at 10 monitors as he's having like a fish and chips or something. He's just got all that in the background, and out the corner of eye, he doesn't even have to give it his full attention. This is how good he is. Out the corner of his eye, he just saw Ito, making a tackle, something that Eric Dyer's only done one this year. Remember, he did one sliding tackle, and he looked like a dog wiping its ass on the ground. He just said, Ito, buy him, sign him. So that's who I've got my eye on. So did he say anything about an offer? Was it 30 million or something? I mean, if he's good, 22 years, that's a good age. He's a short ass. He's shorter than me. But he can teleport. Sorry, I forgot I didn't put my screen back up there. There we go. Yep. So he's 33 million euro. Look, if he's good, I'd have him then. I'd rather be spending money on players like that than bloody Sancho or whatever. And don't forget, look, he can teleport. He can go straight from just to the right hand side of the pitch, over to the left. I don't know how other teams can deal with something like that. Is there any other? This is where I start clouding over when I look at statistics. I don't understand what I'm looking at. Let's have a look at his defending. 1 clean sheet. Interceptions per game 0. Is that because the season's just not started or something? Because they don't look like particularly good. I'm no statistician, man, but those numbers look crap. So it must be just based on this season or something. I've no idea what it means. Who am I kidding? But number one choice. Well, you never know. Brian, dreams come true, because Ange Postecoglou was my number one choice for manager, and that happened. So you never know, man. You never know. Morning, Mayor. How you going? Jose says we've been linked to Guehi for over a year. Is that am I pronouncing that right? Guehi? It's not Guehi, is it? For me, not good enough. No, now you're confusing me. Because like I was all in with Brian, and then you come along and you say he's not good enough. I don't know who to believe anymore. For me, not good enough on what I've seen. Money bent better on Amgiv signings. For his value, we could get 2 centre backs. Well, I'm none the wiser now, am I? I come and consult you seers of all football knowledge, and I'm in the dark, aren't I? But just based on his number being higher in Sofa score than Eric Dyer, I'm all in, man. Let's get him in. Strasbourg Steve, all cool here, all fine and dandy. Mark Cousin says, I'm better than Dyer and I'm 52. Yeah, I reckon you could get a good 5 minutes out of me that would be better than Eric Dyer. Give me a proper pre-season. And I don't mean a pre-season in their swanky 5-star Hilton bloody Abu Dhabi hotel training room they have with helium-filled weights and a ball pit and a bouncy castle. I mean, chuck me in a pre-season. Just chuck me in a forest, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks in North London. There you go. That'll be my pre-season. I can guarantee after all that I'll be able to play 2 minutes better than Eric Dyer before having a heart attack. I was pissing down in London, Brian. Okay, well, it's Leeds, so it's a bit far away, but when's the weather ever better in Leeds than London? Oh, you put up your first video. Oh well, let's have a. Might as well plug it, eh? I mean, I've got 10 viewers. Can't put all that to waste. I realised today YouTube throttles you when you've got less than 1,000 views, so 1,000 subscribers. So I really should be doing more videos, shouldn't I? But I quite like doing this. Yeah, how do I do this? There we go. Copy. There we go. Pop over to Jose's channel. I'll hit the subscribe button. There we go. I've increased your subscribers by 50% there, Mark. So you're on 3 now. That's it. Journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step, man, as I'm finding out, It's all exponential, this internet rubbish. But by the time you get to 10,000, it takes the same time to get to 100,000 and then like 1 trillion or something. I don't know how it works. It's not raining here by the beach. Well, maybe just Brian's under a big like Brian Daigle shaped cloud. Maybe it's just following him around. Sorry, man. Sorry to hear that, Brian. Mark Cousins, the sun always shines in Somerset, but not today. Brian says, are you having people come? Yeah, I don't know how long I'll stay, but bugger it, why not? Let's put the link in here. Now, I'm not very good at this sort of thing when I have like all 5 people. It confuses me, so I might just one at a time or whatever. Or we'll see how we go. I'm just making it up as we go along. Oh, well, there's the StreamYard link. If anyone wants to say hello, if you want to come on, Brian, that's all cool, man. What else we got here? Richie B, g'day, how you going? Morning all. Hey, here he comes. Jeez, he's not hanging about. I wish I had a flashy intro for you, Brian, but here we go. Brian Daigle, how you going, man?
I'm doing good, Paul. I just wanted to say, well done on the channel, man. I've got a lot of time for you. You are a ray of sunshine. So I'm really. I wanted to come on and just say that to you. I'm really happy that other people are doing channels. Your comedic value, your knowledge, honestly, it's wonderful to see your channel doing so well, and I'm happy to be appearing on it.
Oh no, it's really nice of you to say so. I mean, I just I enjoyed going on people's channels, and then I thought, oh well, I'll have a crack. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? Because often during the day there's because I'm in Australia, there's bugger all Spurs live stuff happening. So I thought, oh well, fuck it, I'll do my own. Oh, we got Mira as well.
You have to come on Tottenham on tour, buddy. We'll have to get you on Tottenham on tour.
Oh yeah, I do watch you, man. I do watch you. So yeah, here's Amir as well. Hi, Amir, how are you going?
Hello, you all right? You all right, Brian? How you doing?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Good.
Hold up. Oh, the door's ringing. Hold up.
So,
Yeah, that's April. I wanted to come on as well when you were talking. So I wanted to talk a bit about Guehi because obviously,
yeah, fill me in, man. Fill me in.
With him, he's at Crystal Palace. He's a Spurs fan. He was the captain of the England under-18 team that Divine won his tournament with.
Right.
He plays at Palace. He's 22 years old. He's got a lot to develop on, but he's very powerful. He's very quick, and he's already Crystal Palace captain. So the price, it will be a lot more than 30 mil. It will be a lot more. So like Eltel was saying, like Jose was saying, the value may be out of our remit because of ownership and the money that we may have available. But he is someone that in a couple of years' time will be a full-blown England international, and he's a solid defender. But I kind of agree with what Eltel was saying about financially. I don't think it's doable, but he is my number one pick.
Right. So he can do things like, because I know we haven't seen this on a Spurs pitch for a while. Can he actually like do a slide tackle and like fancy weird shit like that?
He can. And do you know what it is as well? I don't know how you feel about it. I'm getting annoyed with people saying right now we need a ball playing centre back. No, we don't. We need a centre back.
Just need someone. We need a
rock hard centre back that will defend.
Yeah.
And do what they're meant to do first. Obviously, it's lovely to have that Jan Vertonghen or Rio Ferdinand or that cultured ball playing defense. We just need defenders at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's certainly one of them.
Because like if we only let in 40 goals instead of 62, that's really good for us, you know.
Exactly.
And we're not going to be playing this this boring 5-foot passes coming out the back anyway. We're going to be moving the ball. As soon as the defender's got the ball, they're getting rid of it up the pitch straight away. We ain't fucking about at the back anymore.
Exactly. So we got to hope. Centre backs have got to be addressed, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and a goalkeeper. I haven't looked at anything happening on Raya. Who's your number one pick for goalie, Brian?
Raya.
Yeah, he looked all right, didn't he?
It's not just that he looked all right, and I've been saying this on streams before. I don't know if you've seen them or people chat. When you look at it, people are talking about this £40 million fee and whether he's worth it. And in today's market and last year of his contract, probably not. But the way I've been looking at it is he worth 40 million to Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah.
And the way I look at it, he most certainly is. We need a goalkeeper. He is homegrown, which is huge. Even though he's Spanish, he's homegrown because he did all of his training with Blackburn. Okay. So he counts as a homegrown player. He's 27, so could be our keeper for 6-7 years, easy.
Yeah, he's got a lot of life.
Then you have the big concern when you're signing players. Will they settle in London? Well, we know he will because he's in London.
Yeah.
Will he adapt to the English game and learn English? Well, we know that. He's done it. And he came third in a lot of stats and even above Ederson and Alisson in a lot of them. Listen, if we don't get him, it's going to cost more than £40 million to buy another one. So for me, to Tottenham Hotspur, he is worth 40 million. But we have to do our haggling and whatever we do. But he is for sure my number one pick. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, like I did a few videos a few days ago saying why don't we just pay the bloody money and get him in the door, and then I've kind of been swayed a little bit by I've heard people say, look, it is taking the piss to charge that much, but I mean, like when you're buying a player, does it really matter a shit how many years they've got left on their contract? You know what I mean? Yep. You know. It's like, okay, he's got one. Whether he's got 1 or 5 years left, we're still going to buy him and give him a new contract. You know what I mean? And we're not going to wait around a year till he's on a free. He'll have gone by then.
Exactly.
The only thing I would say is that the fact that other clubs have walked away because they feel it's too much as well shows it isn't just us being tight. Even Man U said it's too much. They've said they're not going to offer that amount. And even Raya said it's too much. He's basically saying they're holding me hostage because of the money they're asking for. So I
get that point. But you know what I will say with United is David De Gea has still got another year or two in him. Hugo Lloris doesn't.
That's right.
I get that.
Do you know what? Like I said to you, this is where you got to look at it. Manchester United, if they wanted, they can go, look what they did in the summer when they dropped 90 million for Casemiro. And everyone said, whoa, he's like 30, whatever. My God, that's too much for a 30-something-year-old. Look what he's done for their team. Look what these people. This is what you've got to look at. Forget the value of the player right now. What is his value to Tottenham Hotspur? How desperately do we need to fill this position? That's what's swaying me.
I get it.
I think the 40 million, if I'm honest, probably is a bit too much. But I think, let's say he just goes to another team, an unnamed team anywhere, whether it's England, Europe, any other goalkeeper apart from the Liverpool number 2 is going to cost us more than 40 million.
Yeah, I do get that.
So is it worth risking for losing out on 40 million for then our next goalkeeper target, the team wanting, let's say, 50 mil? And it's like, well, that mishap and haggling has now cost you an extra 10 mil. And the haggling, and we've got to remember, the guys are back in training in 11 days.
And I'd be happy for this window. I'm not expecting the moon on a stick, especially because of the club we support. But if we just sign a really good goalkeeper and a really good centre back, maybe a left back, then I'm kind of happy to just do that this window, get those, because they're the ones we need, and then we can start fannying around with what's happening on the rest of the pitch. Because this is the bit. We've been ignoring it for years and years. Well, 4 years at least. We haven't replaced our defence. And I think even someone like Levy now, he suddenly noticed this goals against column on the league table. What's goals against mean then, Donna? Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ring down. Anyway, they eventually find out what goals against means. And they thought, oh, shit, we need to buy defenders. Even though defenders aren't the fancy players that get people paying money at the door. If you don't have them, you're going to be shit.
That's it. This is what we've got to do. We all know that defence and goalkeeper is there. Listen, we all know we need creativity. We all know we've got Decky signed that can now offer creativity. If Son's back on form and he doesn't go to the Saudi Arabian League.
That's got to be a load of bollocks, that story, isn't it?
This rumour's got legs. I'll tell you now, this rumour's got legs. What you got to look at is if he gets offered ridiculous amounts of money, don't get me wrong, it's going to cost him a lot more than 60 million. This is Daniel Levy we're dealing with, and you've got to remember when you get rid of Son, not only are you getting rid of the player, but you're getting rid of hundreds of millions that he brings in from revenue from the Far East and his fans from all over the world. He's a lot more valuable to Tottenham Hotspur with the money he brings in than just what he does on the pitch. But if an offer comes in that's ridiculous, you've got to remember that this Saudi Arabian league is now acting like the Chinese league, and money is not a problem here. They will keep going. But let's say I don't think he's going to go. I know there's legs to this, but I don't think he will go. I think after last season and his love for Spurs, he will stay another season, especially if Kane's there. If Kane goes, then I'll be worried about Son. Then I'll be very worried about Son. But Kulu can be the creativity if need be. So could Son. The defence and the goalkeeper has to be addressed. If we address that and not a central attack midfielder or creative, I'll be like, okay, we've addressed that. I'm happy. If we go goalkeeper and then attacking midfielder, and don't address defenders, proper defenders, then I'm going to be furious.
See, I kind of think we don't really know what creative players we've got at the moment because we've been playing this shit counter-attacking football for so long. Who's to say that a Bentancur or a Basuma, when they're allowed to flourish a bit more, express their art, maybe they'll become that player. I mean, Bentancur looks like he only needs the smallest excuse in the world to start playing really well. So that's why I say I'm not really fussed about midfield. We might need a couple, but I want to see what the potential of the ones we've got, because we've got Pape Sarr, brilliant player. I love that guy.
Yep, phenomenal player. He's I still don't understand why he didn't get more opportunities last season after the AC Milan performance. It was when this midfield, when Højbjerg needed a rest, when Skip even needed a rest near the end of the season, why this guy wasn't brought on. I was critical of the signing when we made him, but I saw him. I went with Ben from We Are Tottenham TV to the Crystal Palace 4-0 away, and he came off the bench and did well. Then he played against Portsmouth in the Cup and did really well.
Yeah.
And then obviously got thrown into the Lions' Den at the San Siro and was the best player on the pitch by 100 miles. was the only player, in my opinion, that could leave the pitch with their head held high in the 2-0 defeat to the Filth at home. The only player that could leave with his head held high, and then you didn't see him again.
Yeah, I didn't
Which is-
understand that. How he kept playing Skip instead of Sarr. You
Yeah.
know, Sarr, he was always he's a nice 1-2 footballer, whereas Oliver Skip, he was just running into players all the time. You know, head down. It's like we've got this strange viral infection at Tottenham that just makes players head down, run in a straight line. Son caught it, Richarlison caught it, Kulu had it a bit last year, and Skip had it. It's like, what don't you like look up and see what's around you? I mean, maybe it comes from they can't trust each other to back each other up on the pitch. You know, there might be some division in the team or something like that, and Ange will be on top of that. I see you both been getting a bit more excited about Ange, you know, gone from, you know, maybe a bit sceptical to thinking, okay, I don't mind this guy, because I've got news here. I mean, who knows what this means? Alistair Gold is saying Ange Postecoglou will have final say on any player this summer, which I don't think means a lot. They might offer him just like a bowl of pea soup. Do you want this player? No. I mean, that's the final say, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, Paul. We did a video on, I don't know if it was on my channel, Tottenham on Tour, or our channel, Tottenham on Tour, or whatever it was. But when we're doing top fives, I actually mentioned Ange Postecoglou.
Oh, good man.
We didn't do it in order, but I mentioned him. I think it must have been after Scott Muncan, I think. But I've got a few friends and a couple that live in Scotland that have been wildly talking about how good this guy is and whatever. I wouldn't say I was completely on board at the beginning.
Yeah.
The crown jewel was Nagelsmann, but my number one was Thomas Frank. I really, really wanted Thomas Frank. But when the rumours started heating up and it looked more, I started doing a lot of research on him, and I'm actually delighted with the appointment. I wouldn't even go as far, like I said, I'm not a little bit more optimistic. I'm fully on board the Ange Express. I am fully. I look at him. You look at it, and one of the things you've got to look at is every club he has been with, the fans and the players adore him. He comes into this club with not one person that I've been able to see having a bad word about him. You look at it, when we had Jose, we all know there's baggage. Phil, with Conte, we all knew there was baggage. This guy comes in with the love all around it. Look at Celtic fans. The amount of Celtic fans that are joining our streams and saying, you've struck gold, you've done this, you've done that. It's incredible. When you look back in the history, you look at our managers under Levy, the most successful ones for me are Martin Jol. No one knew a damn thing about him, and that was a fluke because Santini walked out. Harry Redknapp, to a certain extent, came to save Tottenham. One day Ramos, and I'll only say one day Ramos because he's the last guy that won a trophy. That's the only reason he's in there. And Mauricio Pochettino, no one knew anything about. So these big managers are coming in and not being given the tools or not doing their job. So why not give someone that hasn't got the big reputation all the support in the world? And I will always support the manager. I'm delighted with this appointment, to be honest.
No, do you know the other thing as well for me is the fact that Conte was out of a job. Jose was out of a job. We've actually gone and got a manager that was in a job that we wanted, if that makes sense. And we haven't done that for a while, where we've actually gone and grabbed a manager and said, you come to us. So that means he really wanted us. Where I feel Jose and Conte, it was about the money, personally.
Yeah. Just paying. You can go back further in time. Keith Birkinshaw was a fluke as well, because Terry O'Neill's assistant, you know, who the hell was Keith Birkinshaw?
This is the thing.
And to the club's credit at the time, we got relegated straight away and they stuck with him. And look what he did, you know. Even Bill Nicholson, he was a player then a manager, you know. It wasn't like he'd been around the traps managing all sorts of other teams. He came from Spurs. So, yeah, sometimes these managers do surprise you. I've really enjoyed it, actually, because I saw all the Celtic fans go through this and it took them longer, because we've at least got the benefit of seeing Ange's experience at Celtic, so we've got more to go on. And you know, I've seen fans go from, you know, completely don't want the guy, which I get because you never heard of him. You know, some people just never heard of him. To bit by bit, they're seeing a bit. I'm looking forward to his first press conference, man. Those who ain't convinced by then, they'll see that and they'll think, bloody hell, this is the guy for us, you know.
Paul, what's the this is what's the reaction been for him joining Tottenham over in Australia? And more importantly, what's it? Has there been a lot of people now talking about how they're going to support Spurs? And has the Ange bug really hit Australia?
Look, I reckon that if you're a football fan anyway, this is big news. This is huge news. And a lot of those football fans in Australia are now going to be following Spurs, you know, at least while Ange is there. Hopefully longer. Hopefully you get it into your heart and you inflict it on your children and your children's children, because that's the way being a Spurs fan bloody works. It's like, I don't know, some genetic disorder that gets passed down and you can't escape it. But outside of the football world, because it is a small sport here, I wouldn't say there's a huge buzz, man. You know, it's still a sport that's looked down on. It's always 2 steps forwards, 1 step back in Australia. They're making changes to the professional league here, so they're going to have 2 divisions with promotion relegation. I think that'll do a lot for the game. But you know, they're in a market competing against rugby league and AFL, which are just so dominant. You know. It's a hard ask, but but definitely, I've seen on my channel a few Australians come over, you know, really excited about Ange, seeing what he can do in the Premier League. I mean, like for Australian football, this is like the biggest thing ever. You know, if you're a football fan, this is like blowing your head off. This is something, you know, especially if you're older than me, say you're in your 60s or something, so you can barely remember, you know, us qualifying for the '74 World Cup when it was all part-timers and bricklayers and there's only 16 people at the World Cup. That was the biggest thing. And now all of a sudden a football manager from Australia is getting a great chance to show the world what he can do.
Joe, what else I've noticed, a lot of Greek Australians have come into my chat and I love it. Obviously being Greek myself, I'm just like all for it. The Greek takeover is strong is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's fantastic. This has been the biggest thing for Greek fans since 2004 over here, you know, when they won the Euros.
Mate, that was crazy over here. That was crazy. Where I live in North London, you're either Jewish or Greek. And when that happens, this place was a statue. But you know what? You go, no, it's great. I mean, Australia have blessed the Premier League with some wonderful players. But whenever someone asks me the first Australian player that I think of, the one I think of is, I wouldn't say is the number 1 pick. A lot of people say Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka. The first one I think of immediately, and I loved him, was Everton's Tim Cahill.
Tim Cahill, man, magic.
What a midfielder and poacher and goal scorer that man was. He was incredible. And from Millwall to Everton, he was superb. And
I don't understand how a guy that's 5'5" can jump higher than everyone else and head a ball. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It was incredible. He's a great player. Was a great player. Great player. Now, hopefully, Ange will do the same. And is it when we go over to Australia? Is he going to be near you, Paul, where we're going, or is it completely other end of the country?
It's about as close as bloody Cairo is to you. It's just it's
gotcha.
It's bloody miles away. I'll just have a look at some comments here, chaps. King Dom, hippie sounds like Puskas. Yes, the man who trained Ange himself, the man who got total football from Arthur Rowe in 1951. Ange told a story of complaining to Puskas about the lack of defence. South Melbourne Hallis. Puskas told him, just kick the ball forward. No one came here to watch you. That's bloody right, man. That's what we want to see. Some of that shit. Richie B. Okay, yeah. They're all just talking to each other. Oh, here we go. Harry Kane, number 10. Alistair Gold is full of wind, mate. Don't believe a word he says. Levy will micromanage everything. He won't be able to micromanage Ange, man. He's going to have a go, and I get it. Loads of other managers have failed, but there's a way of dealing with people, and Ange isn't going to be asking for bloody Bastoni in the first place. I still think that. Look, I hate Tottenham sometimes because it gives me hope, and they've given me hope. And who's to say that in February, if we're like 20th in the league, that Levy will just go, oh, piss off, Ange. And that'll break my heart. But
you know what, Paul? On this, you'll be able to remind me of the name. But what gave me great belief that Ange won't let him get away with this was he did an interview on Australian TV, with a certain news reporter, and it was when Australia hadn't qualified for the World Cup or something.
Yeah.
And he went absolutely mental at this news reporter and called him out on the spot on live TV. I can't remember Mark Chapman or something like that, or whatever his name was.
Craig Foster.
That's it.
That interview, I actually saw that live. That was the first time I saw Ange Postecoglou.
Mate,
and I thought, bloody hell, who's this guy? Because, I mean,
that gave me a lot of hope. A lot of hope. Like you're saying, that he won't take
was being a total dick to him. I mean, he actually got Craig Foster. He's quite a good guy, you know. He's done a lot for human rights and he knows his football. But that interview, he kept on putting out words in Ange's mouth, like he was blaming the players and why don't you resign? And Ange just wasn't having it. And that was a young Ange. You can imagine what he's bloody like now, 20 years later.
Do you know what it is for me? He hasn't got, like Conte's got that arrogance, but Ange's got that people factor where he's firm but fair, and he'll say it in a way where you're listening, where you're not just thinking, oh, you're just an arrogant so-and-so. And I feel like that's the difference, because Ange is a people person and he can get through to people. And I feel like that's where his strong point is because he's firm, but he can also, he does it in a way that doesn't come across like an arrogant, like I say, it's someone who's quite arrogant, where I feel like Conte didn't do it, Jose couldn't do it, but I feel like that Ange has got that people factor. That's why I think he's got something special about him, more so than what they did to be able to do this. That's what I feel anyway.
Yeah, he's not abrasive, and you know, he's just a charismatic guy. You're going to want to do what he says because he just talks sense. What do you reckon, Brian? Do you reckon we've got hope with this one, or?
Like I said, do you know what? Well, when it comes to Ange Postecoglou, you look at this, and we thought when Jose Mourinho came, we thought this is the guy. This is the guy that if this goes tits up, is going to take him down.
Yeah.
And to a certain point, he did with the sacking and the way he left. And there's so many different rumours, whether it was bonus related, whether it was he wanted to rest people for Southampton, and Levy said no because Champions League was still possible. Whether it was a Super League cover-up, who knows? But Mourinho did what Mourinho does. Then Antonio Conte came in, and we're like, here we go.
That's the one I thought would blow the whole place up, man.
This will be the guy that if the ship sinks, he's taking the captain down with him. And to a certain extent, he did. That press conference at Southampton, I still say, is the greatest thing to happen under Levy's tenure, because someone finally called it out. Whether it was the right place to do it or whatever, that's neither here nor there. But for me, it was the greatest thing, and I include Mora's hat-trick in Ajax, because it started what we've been trying to do as Levy out in the protest. We've been waiting for someone to do that. And now, obviously, with the way Levy out is going and the support it's getting and the media coverage it's getting and everything, it's now geared up that he can't make any errors. He can't not back a manager. He can't give this man a contract. And if the sea gets choppy and he chucks the manager overboard, this all backfires on him. And like we were just saying, that interview with Foster, he said, that was a clear indication to me that, you know what, if this goes into a boxing match, this manager will win by a technical knockout. He will do a Rocky Balboa to whatever Levy tries to throw at him. And I've got I've actually got, like I said to you, and throughout this, I'm really excited to see what Ange will do, both on and off the pitch. And if the sea does start getting choppy, I think he will steady the ship, or he'll throw the owner overboard, which is what, if he does that, he'll be a god at Tottenham Hotspur for a lot of people.
I like Philly's point here. Jose and Conte were mercenary. Finally, after 4 years, we can have a manager move the club forward. I guess what you're saying there, Philly, because this is something I feel. If you believe the reports and rumours, Ange's agents have been sniffing around Tottenham Hotspur for months, and he's turned other jobs down, like Brighton, or, you know, depending on what you hear. He's probably been offered one of the jobs, Leeds, Crystal Palace, or Brighton, or Leicester, one of them. And he's he actually wants to be at Tottenham. He sought us out. And Jose and Conte certainly didn't seek us out. They were, you know, bored and needed a bit of money in Conte's case, I think. Whereas now we've got a manager that values us. above some of the clubs that we're kind of a bit jealous of. I mean, I've said it, other people said it, we're jealous of the way that, Brighton are run. They seem to have their ships in order. Tottenham's got more money than that. We should be doing better than them. And we've got a manager that somehow, I think, sees something, sees that Tottenham Hotspur is a great bloody football club. It has got history. It's not just the last 20 years of fucking mediocrity. There's a deep old magic history there, and that's the sort of thing that excites Ange. So, when I hear him talk about the traditions and values of the club, that makes me extremely excited, and I can't wait to hear him talk more about that sort of shit instead of just saying, "Oh, I've won everything. I'm your savior." He's a very humble man. I mean, that's the other, what you're saying there, Mia, about the other two going off on one. At the end of it, Ange is a humble man as well. And you've got to be humble in football. If you ain't humble in football, it bites you on the bloody arse.
You're right. You're completely right. Listen, it is exciting times. Listen, you've also got there's a crop of youngsters coming through.
Yeah.
Which if they are given the correct pathways or go out and get the right loan spells and get the minutes they want or need, things could be happening. But they won't happen if we keep chopping and changing managers. I mean, I still can't believe the stat that we haven't had a manager start and finish the season since Poch. That's just unacceptable. No matter what football team you're in, that's just, how do you expect any continuity? How do you expect any development of the football team, not just the starting 11, the club as a whole, to grow if you're changing managers more than once a season?
Yeah. What have you got any? Have you got? Hang on. Hang on. I've got. What's this chat here? Oh yeah. Thanks, Brian. I'll see if I can remember to do that. I'm not very good at all that shit. But what youngsters have you got your eye on? Because the two that I've got my eye on at the moment are Dorrington and Mikey Moore. I know Mikey Moore's a couple of years away, but Dorrington, I reckon he's knocking on the door, man. He's 20 years old.
Yep.
Maybe give him a go sometime.
So Alfie Devine, as you'll probably know, Paul, whenever you see when anyone mentions that kid's name, I am his number one fan. This guy is going to be a superstar, and I have a bit of inside information with Alfie Devine, not from within Tottenham, but when he was at Wigan, my very, very close friends of my parents, their son was on the medical staff at Wigan Athletic and was looking after Alfie Devine and all the other players. And he was telling me that Alfie Devine's fitness charts and his output and his actual physique, he said it's off the charts. Wow. They said it's actually like he is above and beyond seasoned Premier League players. They likened him to James Milner.
Right.
With his fitness. Now, James Milner, even at 37, still wins the beep tests wherever he goes. His fitness is unparalleled. And they said they've never seen anything like him. Liverpool, like Jamie Carragher, was fuming when Liverpool lost out on Alfie Devine to Tottenham Hotspur. Once he gets into this team regularly, he ain't coming out. He the international tournament he's at now, he's tearing it up, or was at, he's tearing it up. Dorrington is going to be a star. I'd rather have Dorrington starting this season than Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez. If you're young enough, you're good enough. But Mikey Moore,
tasty, eh?
Oh my good God! I've said this now. He will be getting the hype soon that Michael Owen was when he broke through, or Robbie Fowler was when he broke through. And if you remember now, Fabrizio Romano's been talking about him. All the big ITKs have been making big stories about this kid. And the last time I remember someone so young getting bigged up and spoken about was when Martin Odegaard went to Real Madrid. They were talking about how incredible this kid is going to be. And obviously he stagnated at Real, but then is obviously doing bits down the road. This kid has got everything. This kid is going to be something special. But we've got to make sure we don't abuse the talent we've got here, and we coach him and nurture him. When he's ready to go out on loan, if he deserves a loan, or if he goes straight into the first team in a couple of years, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Liverpool after him recently. We've had to change our wage structure and a load of stuff in the youth academy to tie him down to this contract. We have got one of the hottest prospects in European football at this age, and he's playing in under 18s. He's 15 years old. He's going to be incredible.
Joe, what? I completely agree. He is going to be incredible. But like I said before, I don't know if it was when you was on, Brian, is that he's still so young. His little brain, he's still just like a baby, really. We have to make sure that we not only develop him with his side of the football, but we protect him mentally, because if he is going to be a big star, we have to be very, very careful with him and make sure that he doesn't go down like a wrong kind of path, because it's easy to do that, isn't it, when you know that you're going to be the next big thing. Or, you know, we have to be very, very careful with him and protect him mentally as well, because he's still growing. His frontal cortex isn't developed yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still developing a lot in his little brain. So I feel like we have to really, really protect that boy, because he's still very, very young.
Correct.
Just give him a truckload of magic mushrooms. That'll get his brain going. That'll age him. He'll be fine.
Listen, my son's going to be 15 this year. If anyone did that, I'd absolutely, go after them. I'll tell you that much now.
Got a comment here from Lord Wellesby, who's a distant relative of Elton Wellesby, if that means anyone. That's a name that's familiar to me. The youngsters won't have the big-time Charlie attitude, and Ange will be able to communicate with them. I think that's bang on, because he's going to get them training near the first team, so that when he's done that at Celtic, so that when they make the jump to the big team, it's not like they're instantly overawed and shitting themselves.
Well, Paul, with this, what you got to remember as well, and this is why it's vital that we get more footballing people in at the club. Not necessarily, I'd love it to be more Tottenham people, but we need to have some kind of infrastructure where there are footballers that have been there, done that, got the T-shirt, whether it be Gary Mabbott, who's at the club, or does this, whatever it is, whether it be an iconic captain like Gary Mabbott, to me the most inspirational captain we've ever had, with what he has to go through and what he did go through and what he does for Tottenham after his career, or if it's people like Yaya Toure, if we bring more people in like him, we need to make sure that they are all, like Mia was saying, they need to be nurtured right, they need to be looked after right. And the only way you're going to do that is by getting more footballing people, not agents, not directors, not all these people that are concerned about commercial growth and how much money can be made. We need more footballing people to make sure people like Mikey Moore don't fall down this rabbit hole, like Dele Alli.
Here we go. Philly, Conte and Jose were to appease the fans. Damn right. It was like a football Ponzi scheme. It was a complete bloody rip-off, because it got my hopes up. I'm getting warm in here now. It got my hopes up, and then it turns out, we're gonna hire the big-time managers and give them fuck all to work with. It was a complete con job. Convinced Kane we were doing something. Postecoglou was a return to basics, the equivalent of Moonraker to For Your Eyes Only. Now, look, don't start bagging Moonraker. It's a fun film. It's got a pigeon that does a double take. It's got a hovercraft that like a gondola that turns into a hovercraft. It's got Jaws. It's just James Bond all over. But you mentioned something there. I reckon, and this is what I'm hoping anyway, that Harry Kane is going to see enough in what Ange is doing that he's going to stay with us. He'll sign another contract, and he'll see it. I mean, if he wins one bloody cup at Spurs, it's going to be worth 10, like winning 10 elsewhere to him. I'm sure, he really likes the club. So, well, what do you reckon, Mia? Do you reckon that's a possibility?
Yeah, no, I suppose, it is. Sorry, I just going off in a bit of a daydream. Yeah, right. I am listening, don't worry. So can you hear me? Yeah. So I think that what this comment's saying is spot on with Philly. They were just to appease the fans, and it was what he thought was going to be a quick fix, and it doesn't work, man. It doesn't work, and I'm glad that we've gone back to what we were. Basically what we should have done is continued what we did with Poch, is continue that instead of going to a Conte and a Jose. It was silly. It was very, very silly, and I hope that he has learned. I can only hope. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
The thing is, I'm not trying to, like, people think I'm a happy clapper. Yeah, maybe I'm a bit of a happy clapper because I like to be happy in my life. I don't like to be, like, try and be negative, and I try and be positive in my life. And that's just who I am as a person. So I'm trying to hope that things will work out good in the end, you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm the same, man. I like to be a happy clapper, you know. I mean, I've seen this team break my heart so many times, and I've realised that I might as well take the moments of happiness while I can, because when it all goes to shit, I'm going to be pissed off anyway. So I might as well smile when I can, you know.
Well, you know what, Paul? I'm kind of the other. I don't know if you would have put it half full or half empty. Kind of thing. I kind of go on the road where I'm pissed off, and you know what? If I'm pissed off, when things go tits up, I'm already there. I knew it was going to happen. I'm there. But if things go well, and and Levy does something good, or we do something right, I'm happy. I'm like, do you know
Yeah.
what? Well done, Tottenham. Well done, Levy. You did something good. Well done. I'm impressed. So I go up the ladder of happiness rather than start there and be like, oh yeah, it's different this time. It's going to be, and then when things go wrong, go, oh for fuck's sake, I was taken in again. It's all gone peach on. I start at ground zero and can only go up.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad way to see it either. But I don't think there's any way that people like can say that your support or the way I support or the way Paul support is wrong. Everybody's got obviously their own perspective,
Oh, yeah.
and that's exactly how I see it. You know, the way I see it is no one is got any right to tell me or you or Paul how we can support our club or any Tottenham supporter. Like, so I'm like, obviously, like I say, Paul's like how he says you are, how you are, like you are. So it's all good, isn't it? We all love our club. At the end of the day, that's the thing. We all love the club.
Correct.
Harry Kane 10 says, if you want happiness while you're following Spurs, you best go follow Man City. Well, you can go and follow Man City. They've been our bitches since 1981, so you can go and follow those Johnny come laters. You can do what you want, mate. Following Tottenham has aged me 30 years. How do you think I feel? I'm only 15. Look at the state of me.
Do you know what though? I support Tottenham because of my nan. It's a family trait, like you say. I got it from my nan that I support Tottenham. So I'm not going to stop supporting Tottenham. Like, it's a family thing I want to pass on because my nan passed away when I was quite young, and I've now passed that pain on to my children. So I'm continuing it.
That's right. You've got to let that intergenerational pain flow, haven't you?
Exactly.
The one I feel sorry for. The one I feel sorry for is a mate of mine in England, and I got him into Tottenham, and then he's had 5 kids. So I've kind of, by proxy, done that to his whole family. So sorry, Dan.
Yeah, that's what I've done to my nephews as well, and my niece.
Oh,
my sister's Spurs anyway, but then when they have kids as well, and you start doing the multiplication, there's a whole breed of them.
Oh no, dude! Like, so, yeah, like in 30 years' time, there's going to be like 100 bloody Spurs fans around because of you. Oh dear. Anyway, I might end it off there. I was only going to do a little one, about an hour. What are your hopes for the season, Mia? What would make you content with the season? You know, bare minimum here, not like, you know, winning the quadruple, which is what I think we're going to. Well, we ain't going to win it this year. The treble I'll settle for this year. But what would you settle for, Mia? What would be a success?
Do you know what? Enjoying football again, actually turning on my TV and wanting to watch us play, because I've been watching I've been watching City just to get my football enjoyment, because I don't enjoy watching Tottenham. I don't feel like we're going to get any more than maybe 6th, and do a good cup run, be competitive in the cup runs. That for me this season I feel is realistic in my expectations. But just to watch good football again, just to go, yes, I want to go and watch them. I didn't watch them much this season. I live a bit further away now, but me and my brother didn't even make the effort to go there because we don't want to go and watch that football. We just don't. And I feel like this season I want to go to more games and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's been the worst thing for me, man. It's been, you know, I'm just glad I've had the Irish Hotspur to hang around with, because getting up at, you know, 2 or 3 in the morning, sitting in the dark watching that shit. It's all right when we've been playing well, but that's like 5-6 years ago now. But it's been, this season is the worst I can remember, and that's all I'm looking for as well, man. Just football that puts a smile on my face. That'll do. No drama, no nothing. Just, you know, football that puts a smile on my face. What about you, Brian?
There's 2 things I'm looking forward to. But first of all, I just want to answer my brother John Fitzpatrick has asked, will I be attending any more protests next season?
I saw this. I mean, this is the dumbest question.
Bet you bottom dollar we'll be protesting, and probably before the season starts as well. We listen. The manager coming in is a good step. It doesn't wipe away everything that's gone wrong. But what I will say, what's success for me next season? There's two things I've been saying. I've said it on here already. Ending the season with the manager we started the season with. That'd be success. And most importantly for me is there's no excuses this season why we don't take the domestic cup seriously. Whether it be the Carabao or the FA Cup, there is absolutely no excuse whatsoever. They can say, we rested players because there's no international travel. There's no staying overnight at hotels in different countries. There's no risk of injury or infection there's none of that. All those bullets have been taken out of the chamber. There is no excuse. Not saying we've got an entitlement right to win a cup, but we just threw away the cups this year with Nottingham Forest and Sheffield United. And for me and for Tottenham Hotspur fans, that is totally unacceptable. We need to remember what side our bread is buttered on. And we are known for being a cup team and being a formidable cup team at that when we go for it. And the good thing is you've seen with Ange, he does take domestic cups. He respects the cups. He respects everything about it. So for me, finishing the season with the manager we started it with and taking the domestic cup competition seriously is going to be big success for me.
Yeah, I mean, that, for me, the lowest point of the season was that Sheffield United game, man, because my last memory of a Sheffield United game at Bramall Lane was in the early 90s, and it was something like the third or fourth round of the Littlewoods Cup. And you looked at the team; it was a top strength team. Paul Gascoigne scored, so to go from that stage where, I mean, the manager didn't care about the cup, the owners don't care about the cup, the players didn't look like they gave a shit. The only people at that game that gave a shit were the fans. And to treat them to a spectacle like that was absolutely disgusting. I think I heard when Ange, when he was talking about his first league cup at Celtic, he was saying it was so important because he knew the fans craved success, and it was so important to get that first run on the board. So, for me, football puts a smile on my face. If we have a deep cup run, that'd be nice, sometimes you need a little bit of luck in the cups, but like you say, just to take it seriously for a change, that'd be, oh my Lord, that'd be so refreshing to see, because it doesn't do it's no good for the smaller teams in the cup when they come against us big boys, and we don't give a shit about it. It's not right. It's not right about football. Anyway, I'm going to I'll just have a quick look at any streams here. John was there. John saying he's going to see you in October. Yes, here we go, Mark. Bring the FA Cup back to the lane. Fuck yes, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? See a bus driving around Tottenham with a cup on the back and ticker tape and all that pizzazz. Brilliant. Born to lose, morning, gents, and all in the chat. Bodes well for Ange taking the domestic cup seriously. He won the treble at Celtic, of course, he did. All right, well, thanks, Brian, and thanks, Mia, for popping on.
My pleasure.
And no worries. I'm going to go on my couch and watch some more Spurs stuff now, so I might see you around. And this is where I uncomfortably hit the end broadcast button. But you've got to say goodbye in your own way, Brian. Come on.
I didn't know whether I should on your stream, but you've just given me permission and the blessing. I didn't want to intrude, but now you said it has to be done. And as always, Levy out.
That's right. Come on, you Spurs.